Okay. Hi, Johnny. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing fine. I'm recovering from some surgery, so you might see a ugly scar on the top, but I'm
Oh,
doing well.
well, I'm sorry to hear that, but glad you're recovering. And nice to have you on this show. You were actually on our audio podcast about 4 months ago.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I think that may be where we got the confusion about this booking and how to hook up and all that because you were on that one and now you're on the video show.
Yeah, I knew all about what I was going to do. I didn't have to get dressed or anything. I just called up on the phone.
Yeah. Um, the last time you were on, which book were you promoting? Do you remember?
Ooh, that was a while back. It was probably The Lost Art of Magic.
Okay, because I don't remember which one it is. Um, the new one that we've got here called Something About Nobility, is this all part of a series or are these all standalone books?
This one's standalone. It's a rom-com, and it actually started out as an experiment because I see a lot of other authors writing in the first person, and I've never tried that. So I thought I'd let me sit down and try writing in the first person, and I and the experiment turned into a whole book, and I found a character that I really liked and expanded on it, and it was a lot of trial and error figuring out how to do conversations between different people when the point of view is just the one person. But I think I pulled it off.
Yeah, you got me thinking now. So if it's you and somebody else, then it's pretty simple. But if you're observing two other people talking, then you'd have to do a lot of he said, she said kind of stuff, right?
There was a lot of maybe the character was hiding behind a bush and listening to two other people talking. There was a couple instances where I said, "This is how he relayed the story to me, and I'm going to give it to you in complete chronological order." And then the narrator or the single point of view tells the story up until the point that he joined that part of the story.
Why did you decide to do this one? Because you'd never done it before?
I'd never done it before, and I was beginning to wonder if there was some secret to success in doing it that way because I'm seeing so many other people do it, and after the fact, uh, recently I had somebody who was a psychic tell me that this was going to be the big book.
Oh, well, okay. So I'm just
Suddenly, I believe in psychics now.
I'm just wondering, have more of the successful authors written in first person or not? Is there any statistics on that?
As far as I can tell, the big successful authors, the giants, don't. They write in third person primarily, but the great volume of books being sold as an independent, appear to me to be first person. Now, so I tried it. I don't think I'm going to continue doing this. It was something I tried, and it wasn't really my natural style, but it was fun to do.
Well, if this becomes your breakout book, then you may have to write a few more this way, yeah?
I might, I might. That psychic also said I should write romance, and that's not something I've ever. I have a little romance in all my books, and this is a rom com, and I have another rom com that's coming out this month. But it wasn't. I never actually sat down and considered writing a straight romance.
Okay, the book that you were promoting before, what genre would that have been?
That was it was technically fantasy, but it not high fantasy, no elves or vampires or werewolves. It was magic realism, and it was modern day, assuming that maybe magic used to be real and all of a sudden it came back.
Is that what magic realism means? I never heard that term.
It's trying to portray magic with somehow how it fits in today's society. Like, for instance, I define my magic as something that was had to fit in with the physical and universe of physics and chemistry. You know, you can't just create energy out of nowhere. The energy had to come from somewhere. So I devised a way that the energy existed, and that the people who are doing the magic, they don't really have the power inside of them. They're just drawing upon this power from the environment.
So
So
they
that's
had
where I put the realism in.
they had to plug in somewhere.
Kind of. It's more like the well, for instance, a battery has a positive and a negative terminal, and the power of the battery is between those two when they come into contact, or when they, are used connected to something that requires a power source. And in my series, I have two different clans of people, and one of them is a positive and negative, and they both have to exist in order for that power to be able to come forth. So my theory and what I put forth is that when they had a war and one of them won the war and almost decimated the other, the power went away because there wasn't enough of them to create that difference.
So was the energy between these two? They were rival factions, and when they got together, then it sparked.
Yes.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Well, that could make for an interesting story. Now, was that one set? You said it was set in modern day times, right?
It was in real time. But there were flashbacks to ancestral memories that existed in various times in the past.
So the latest one, let's pivot over to that. Something about nobility. Now, you said this is a romantic comedy written in first person. Why don't you give us a little synopsis of it? You can hold it up, actually. You've got a copy
Yeah.
there.
So this occurs in 16th century England, and the idea is that we have a on an estate with an earl. His daughter is close friends and close in age to the gardener's son, and they grew up together, and they were given the same tutors, and they grew very very close together. And she excelled in making problems, and his talent was to get them out of trouble. Well, in the story, a third friend of theirs who belonged to a family they feuded from asked her to marry him, and she could not tell her father because they were feuding. So the gardener's son, being the helpful person he was, said, "Well, why don't you just tell your father that it was some common person, a commoner, asked you to marry them, gave you the ring, and then your father will be completely, he'll rage and he'll be upset, and then when you say, oh no, it was actually this boy, then maybe your father will think differently." Well, she went and told him that she was going to marry the gardener's son, and her father, the earl, was delighted because he knew a secret about the gardener and his family.
Something
If I
about,
go further, it'll spoil the ending.
well, something about nobility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds interesting. Has the book been released?
Yes, it has.
Okay. When did it come out? Oh, a month ago?
Yeah, probably a month ago.
All right. Have you gotten any positive reviews or any reviews at
I
all?
have.
Yeah.
I have. The reviews have just started to trickle in, and I've got 2 reviews on Amazon for it, and very positive.
You said you didn't want to write any more in that style, but are you set on that if this one becomes a hit?
If this is the hit, then I'll have to decide if that was why.
Okay.
The first person is a challenging way to write because it's normally in third person. I can bounce between scene to scene, and you've got different people, doing different things, and I can even, let them share what's in their head. in the first person, that's not always possible to do.
Well, I think on that we're going to wind this down. So the book is called Something About Nobility. It has been released. The last question, do you have a website that you want to give out?
I do. It's www, if I can speak right, www. Jordyn at large, as Jordan with a Y, Jordyn, at largebooks.com.
Atlargebooks.com. Okay. We will put that up on the screen. Well, Jonni, thanks again for coming back on the show. Nice talking to you. And I hope this is the breakout book for you.
I hope so. Keep my fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.